Welcome to our world. Won't you come on in? Waiting just for you. Welcome to our world.
Check.
Are we live?
Check.
All right, welcome to Friday, everyone. We're so happy
Hello.
to have you all back with us for our part 2 of our Disney
Come into
attractions.
the studio. Join
We have
us.
Eric joining us again
Yep.
today. Welcome back. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay,
About the
great.
same as I was last time.
Anything new happened since last we talked?
I yawned. I
No.
checked my phone for a second.
Okay, you obviously can't let people know how the
Okay.
magic is done
Yeah.
here, so I might
Yeah.
cut
How'd you
that
sleep
out.
last night?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
so last episode earlier this week, we gave our favorites and least favorites for Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios. Today we are going to get into those for Animal Kingdom, and then we are going to make a nice little list for you all of our favorites
And least favorite.
and least favorite, and then we're going to do one more thing. Okay,
Go.
Eric, would you like to start?
Yes, sure.
We're on Animal Kingdom.
I put my number 3 as Flight of Passage.
Sure.
Very cool ride. Yeah, really cool. Obviously, it's kind of like Soarin',
But better.
but better. Like the theming's cool, and just the way the vehicle is, it's a little more like Soarin's cool because you feel like you're flying above whatever, and especially if you get one of the higher rows, you're really
Right.
up there. Or the middle row is probably the best because then
Yeah.
you're really like right in the center of the screen and stuff. But Flight of Passage, the way it really like kind of constricts. The vehicle kind of constricts you.
Yeah.
Well, because you're bonding with your Banshee and everything.
Your Ecron, yes.
Well, they call it a Banshee too, don't they?
The
That's the
name of their
slang.
people is Ecron.
I guess
That's not the
you would know
slang.
since you work there.
Yes.
But anyway,
I've never seen the movies, just so we're aware.
we watched the first. Well, I saw the
I
first
hate
one
Avatar.
twice, but okay.
Go ahead.
So anyway, I think that's obviously there's not a ton of rides or attractions in Animal Kingdom for the record. I mean, probably more than Epcot, but anyway, I'm just saying, there's a limited number, but I'm like, okay, that's a pretty cool ride.
Sure.
Second, I put Kilimanjaro Safari.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm a little torn as like an animal lover and everything else. Like, I don't necessarily think it's appropriate to have these animals there. And like, it's always kind of bittersweet for me. I'm like, okay, I love animals and I'm amazed by animals. To be this close to elephants and giraffes and hippos and rhinoceros and whatever else is out, like, that's why I love it so much. But at the same time, part of me is always like, do these animals really like being here? Is it cruel that they're here, that we brought them here from Africa and all this other stuff?
I think, really quickly, if I could jump in,
Yeah.
I think a lot of times I agree with that. And obviously zoos in general, I think I have a lot of issues with zoos. I think in the past few decades, zoos and aquariums and things like that have gotten a lot better because people were reaching out and complaining about that kind of stuff. And so like the treatment of animals in those situations has gotten better. Specifically at Animal Kingdom though, I mean, obviously I've never worked in a position like that, so I can't say for sure, but those animals are treated so well.
Yeah.
And they have I mean, just because I did one of the backstage tours for that too, the detail that they go into to make sure like that they're comfortable and all that stuff. So that's the one thing. But then the other thing is they also have a big focus on endangered species.
Yeah.
And so like rehabilitating them and,
Right.
and
And
having a
sometimes
safe
that's the only
environment
way
for
to
them. Right.
yeah.
So I completely agree with, the uncomfortableness, but Animal Kingdom, I personally feel like
If you're gonna do it,
if you're
that's
going
the
to
way
do it, they do it the right way. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Do it.
Yeah. No, and that's ultimately usually kind of the conclusion I come to. Like I always say to Maria, like, and we don't necessarily feel the same way, but like I wouldn't pay a ticket or pay for a ticket just to go to a zoo or an
Yeah.
aquarium or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily trust it and I don't necessarily agree with the whole thing in general. But yeah,
Mhm.
like with Disney, there's more going on. And I sort of have to go off good faith,
Yeah.
On what you're saying. But
Really
the only
quickly-
thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I just remembered really quickly, one of the things that they do now, this is at the Seas at Epcot, they're in one of their tanks. What are they? They're not sea lions. They're Something like that. Anyway, the only sea lions that they keep there now are ones that are being rehabilitated.
Yeah.
And once
Manatees?
they're what?
Are you talking about
Manatees.
manatees?
Manatees maybe? I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But once they're fine, then they let them
Release
back
them.
out into
Yeah.
the wild.
Yeah.
And so they're literally just there for rehabilitation.
Yeah.
No, the only thing I was going to say with the zoo thing is there are some people, and maybe this is just what you deal with. There are some people probably that would never see some of these animals, right? They would hear about them, they would see about them on TV, but they would never, like, they're not going to get to go to Africa to go on an African safari or
Right, but is that a
something like
reason to do it?
Yes.
I don't think
Yeah,
I don't think that's a
okay.
good enough reason. I think
All
that's
right.
selfish.
I'm just pointing out, some people maybe would never have the opportunity.
I'm never
So-
going to go to Africa. Bring Africa to me.
I'm never gonna.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
never gonna know what it's like to kill someone, to shoot someone in the face, and that's kind of sad.
That's
so,
why you hire a hitman.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No.
All right.
My favorite, and this is kind of unfortunate. My favorite is Dinosaur.
Right.
I just love that ride. Like, I think it's fun,
yeah.
and again, the theming's cool. Like, I really like dinosaurs. I don't know, like, even if you just went through and it was more of just like it's dark ride, like, okay, you feel like you're back in the Jurassic Age or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's fun how you have the story of you're trying to get the iguanodon and,
Mm-hmm.
with one exercise or,
Yeah.
passenger or
Whatever
whatever.
he says,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just adds a little bit to it. And I don't know. I just think that's a really fun ride. Like,
Yeah.
if you're
You-
talking about all my favorite rides in Disney, I'm not really thinking about Dinosaur necessarily, but for Animal
If you're
Kingdom, I
going to
really like
Animal
that one.
You didn't like Indiana Jones though, right?
No, I
at
did like
Disneyland.
Indiana Jones. Yeah,
Do
I
you like
liked Indiana
Dinosaur
Jones
better
a lot.
because it's like the same
I know.
track and everything.
Well, we only went on Indiana Jones once,
and you got
in California,
kicked
and
off and all that.
yeah, we got stopped towards the end.
Yeah, it sounds like you got kicked off like you did
Yeah,
something
no,
wrong.
no,
Oh, sorry, I
no,
didn't
yeah,
like
the
that.
ride stopped towards the end. The ride
You are now
broke down.
banned from
Yeah,
Disneyland.
yeah.
So yeah, and I, even though I didn't do this for the first few, I will just give an honorable mention. Like, I do like Expedition Everest.
Yeah.
I know the whole backwards thing is messes it up for some people. Maybe Dad will talk about that in a second.
Yeah, I will.
But but that's another one where I like the theming. Like, when you're
Yeah.
coming up
Yeah.
through and it's kind of going through like the mystique and the history of the Yeti
Right.
and everything.
Yeah, it's not
I just
bad.
think I just think that's cool. Now the backwards thing is maybe a little unnecessary, even though it is something that's unique to the ride and different. And it does bug me that stupid animatronic broke down.
I know.
Like,
And they haven't fixed
and they
it.
just
They
haven't
haven't
fixed
fixed
it.
it.
The
Yeah.
money that they
This-
spent on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway
Yeah.
Railway, they could have spent on fixing the Yeti.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
how much
just
could it possibly cost?
I know, but I'm
That's-
just saying.
I just
That's my point.
Yeah, it bugs me more out of principle. Like,
Right.
I actually didn't even realize it was broken
Yeah.
until years after it existed, and I had been on it how many times. I thought it was just like, okay, you're going by it quickly enough anyway. It doesn't really need to move and everything
do you
else.
know what
Which
it
is
but-
probably
reminds me
how
of?
they feel.
It
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's a stupid corporate decision. It reminds you of in the movie Elf, where his dad is the book. They missed a couple pages,
oh yeah,
and
Oh.
he's saying, no, just ship it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's
That was
kind of like they're saying nobody's going to notice this anyway,
That was
Yeah.
a great
so just
analogy.
don't fix it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and it's
Good
like
for
that
you.
arrogant corporate executive attitude.
Right.
I mean,
You know,
part of me wonders because now it is like very much almost like an inside joke
Yeah.
or whatever with within Disney going fans or whatever. It's like, are they just feeding into that, or is that part? Like, I doubt it, but is
Yeah.
I
it
don't
just
know.
like, oh, everybody kind of thinks it's cute,
No.
I think if that's what they were doing, it would be fun for a couple of years to
Yeah.
do that and be like, this is the whole thing that people talk about. But I also feel like if I were an Imagineer, especially one that had a hand in making this
Yeah,
ride,
that's your
the
ride.
pride that
Yeah.
I would feel,
Yeah.
I would like dedicate as much as Disney would let me,
Yeah.
my time to figuring out how much time, money, and resources do we need to fix this?
Well,
Because
like,
obviously the
seriously,
people care.
Do you think Walt Disney, if he were alive, would have said, no, don't fix
Right.
it, just leave it broken like
Yeah.
that?
Well, it's crazy too because you think about, for example, on the Navi River ride, that huge Avatar,
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah.
that blows my mind, and
Yeah.
that ride's kind of like that ride's not great or whatever, not super exciting. But whenever I'm on it and I go by that huge animatronic, you know what I'm talking about, right towards the end, the big woman Avatar.
Eric, obviously, I know what you're
Okay,
talking
I'm just saying. No.
I watched her every day.
Well,
for
yeah, all right.
years.
Samantha worked on that
For a
ride.
year.
Yeah. She has some of her best memories working the fast pass lane.
I do.
Yeah.
No, but you know that like it's not like yeah. It's not like when they were doing it, it was like, yeah, we didn't know if that thing was going to work because that we maybe just got in over our head with
Right.
what we tried to do with that. It's like, no, like they definitely have done more impressive stuff than that.
Yeah.
It is like a corporate thing or a cost thing or I don't know.
I
annoying.
can't understand that it would be that expensive that
Yeah.
it's like they decide not to do it. It doesn't
But
make any sense.
anyway,
All right, Dad.
whatever.
We're moving
Yeah.
on. That was 3, right? Well,
Yep.
that was 4.
Yep. Well,
technically,
4,
but go ahead, Dad. You're 3.
Well, I thought you were going to do yours.
Okay, I'll do my 3.
Yeah.
My number 3 is Festival of the Lion King. I love Festival of the Lion King. I feel like I have never, if I'm able to, like time-wise and everything, depending on the show times, I always want to go see it. It is just so well done. It's like expertly. Everybody is so good. The singers are fantastic. I've never seen or like heard a bad singer in that. The tumble monkeys are always on point. Like it's
Tumble
just
monkeys.
so well done.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
whole thing.
Actual
Yeah.
people.
Start to
Yeah.
finish. Yeah. So I just love that. And obviously my favorite memory from that is when I got to take that old lady in the wheelchair when I was working. So that was a really
Oh
good
yeah,
time.
I remember that. Yeah.
And she wasn't even grateful for it. Number 2 for me is
That's a good one, by the way.
Number 2 is Kilimanjaro Safaris
Mhm.
for, obvious reasons like we talked about. We don't have to talk about that more. And my number 1 is Flight of Passage.
Okay.
I just think it's I don't know, obviously what you had said about the ride vehicle itself and everything, but I just feel like it's so and this is I didn't even like working there, obviously. You can go listen to those episodes if you want, but like for a while, but that ride, like I always loved that ride. You just feel like it's an experience from start to finish, and it's a good length. It's slightly under 5 minutes, so it's not like I love Rock and Roller Coaster. That's my favorite ride, but it's
2 minutes.
what
Yeah.
a minute and a half or something like
Yeah.
that. You have a solid 5-minute ride with a good story, good effects,
Right.
a little bit too much water hitting you, but that's okay.
Hmm.
But it's like it's just good, and I think like
Yeah.
the technology, obviously a use of the screen and all that, but that's the whole point. How are you going to do that without a screen? Okay, go ahead.
A detail I just want to add to that I really like too, because I was talking about the vehicles cool and stuff.
Right?
The way that you could feel like it's breathing,
Yeah.
like you're
Yeah.
really riding
Yeah.
the Banshee.
Yeah,
That's
it's a good
cool.
effect overall on
Yeah.
that. And that's in my top 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm thinking about this. This is rough.
Okay.
I think my number 1 is going to be Dinosaur.
Right.
Because I just like the ride. I like the ride vehicle. It's kind of a good story. It's kind of cool. And you do it is actually exciting as you're going. So I think I like that one. The Lion King, and the same reason. And after you've gone on it after you've seen the show a bunch of times, it loses a little bit, but
See, I
it's
don't
still
feel like it
really
does,
good.
though.
It's still really good because the music is really good, and like you said, the acrobats and everything are
Yeah.
good. So I like that, and yeah, probably the Flight of Passage. I think
yeah.
too, and like you said, there aren't a lot of rides in there. I mean, the river one, the
Cali River Rapids.
Cali River Rapids is kind of cool, but I haven't gone on that
I feel
in
like
a long
that's
time.
I don't even remember the
That's-
last time that was open when I was at the park, because it's always they close for the colder months
Yeah,
and they do refurbishment during the colder months.
Yeah,
But then
but it is a good for that type of ride. It is good.
Yeah, but
You know?
that's another one where the theming is pretty weak.
Yeah, what's
Like,
Well,
the
it's just
story?
it's a typical
yeah,
that type of ride. There's nothing special.
Oh
about
yeah.
it.
So, but if you compare it to Splash Mountain
Right.
or Atlantis over in SeaWorld,
Oh,
that
yeah.
Samantha and I love,
Right,
like,
yeah.
there's just a lot more going
So
on.
much
But
better.
not that it's bad, yeah.
Okay.
But it's just I feel like
Right.
it could be so much better.
Right.
I was gonna. Oh, and just another thing quickly with Dinosaur.
yeah.
Again, it's like it's sort of a classic ride at this point because just that guy is really good. The guy
Oh,
who's
The
yeah.
actor that does the
like he has the little puppet on with the
Seeker, isn't that his name?
with the dinosaur, which actually they used to have at like McDonald's or whatever. I remember we had that around the time the movie came out,
yeah.
and like just we're in,
Yeah.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
she when she leaves and
About
he's
those
like, all
long
right, yeah,
coordinates.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
in.
Yeah, it's kind
Like
of funny.
it's just you think about all those and like
Yeah, it's a good ride.
obviously it's about to not exist anymore. Ironically,
Yeah, I don't even remember
Well,
what
that's
they're
kind of what they
changing it
do,
to.
probably because they're
Yeah.
good rides they get rid of, like Splash
Yeah,
Mountain.
exactly, yeah.
Right.
Got to retheme
But-
this. It's our number one ride.
But I picture us, 10, 15 years from now, sitting here and like looking back on
Reminiscing.
YouTube,
Yeah.
and like seeing that guy and just being like, wow, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right.
Okay.
The worst.
Least favorite.
My least favorite, and obviously this is personal, is the Navi River journey. I think
See, no.
okay, because you're
go ahead.
talking about the audio animatronic at the end.
Mhm.
Super cool.
Mhm.
One of the
Right.
coolest things, like at Animal Kingdom, probably. However, when that animatronic is not working, they pull it back and they drop a screen. And so she like if she gets stuck in whatever position, they literally pull the whole audio animatronic back out of that scene and they put a screen down.
Oh wow.
And the screen is her doing the same stuff, but because of the vantage point then, because the screen's back here
Yeah.
and the drums or whatever are up here, it looks horrendous.
Oh,
it
right.
looks so bad.
Right.
It ruins the experience, okay?
But at least
So
they keep
people-
the ride going at
It
least.
does, but you've waited. And again, oh man, the queue, there's no queue for this ride. It's literally you're in the woods. There's nothing. There are no signs explaining like the natural life in Pandora. There's no theming at all in that queue, okay?
Right.
It's horrendous, all right? So
Right.
you're in line for, if you're waiting more than 5 minutes for this ride, it's too long, let me tell you, okay? You're in line for an hour or an hour and a half, and you get on the ride, and you see a screen instead of the audio animatronic. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, especially if you don't know the audio animatronic is supposed to be there.
Well, then it might not bother you as much because you're not looking forward to it
No,
at least,
but
though.
but then you don't understand. You're like,
Like-
why are people waiting for this?
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
this
what
is
is
so bad.
this?
At
Yeah.
least when it's there, it's like, okay, that was
Okay.
pretty cool at the end. And they also still have not fixed fan lizard number 7. And I wish that
Oh,
they
yeah.
would fix it because it just sits there. The
Yeah.
rest of them are moving.
No, but this goes back to the whole point of Disney is not, they don't care as much anymore.
yeah.
They used to be like,
And
they used to be the best when it came to the maintenance at the parks,
that
cleanliness, all of that. And they are not anymore.
That specifically, I can tell you because every time I did a ride through, the maintenance guys and we were on good terms.
Uh-huh.
And so whenever they were working on something there, we have to do a ride through and make sure everything's working or not working, write it down. Whenever they were there, I always said something to them about this fan lizard. And they were always like, I don't remember what his name was, the main, like their head engineer guy. They were like, yeah, he just doesn't, that's not on our list for today and all that. Like their boss was just like, that's not a priority right now.
If you don't know
Yeah.
what she's talking about, there's the one part of the ride where there's
Right.
lizards.
Up
They're called
above
fan
you.
lizards, yeah, and they're like spinning and stuff, and the one just doesn't
Doesn't
It
work.
just sits
move.
there. It's
just
frozen.
sits there,
Broken.
yeah.
For
So
years
it kind
now.
of it kind of kills the effect of all of them, really, because
It
it just
does.
takes you out.
It
But
does.
Yep.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's worth mentioning. Like, so you sort of factored in a little bit the wait time, the typical wait time for that
Yeah.
ride. You know, I think if we would have done that for all these,
I'm just
because
saying,
even Flight of Passage,
right,
like
right.
when the
That's
wait
right.
time is 4 hours,
With-
is that still in your top 3? Like,
with
I'm
the-
not going on
okay,
it.
with
you
the
know?
wait time though, the two things that I was saying that for were because there's nothing in the queue. The queue does not distract you at all.
Yeah,
It's
I get
just-
what you're
it's
saying.
nothing. And then
Yeah.
the second thing is if they're doing the screen, then it's definitely like
I get it.
you're waiting for nothing. That's all I was saying. I'm not talking about the actual wait time.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about the
Right.
fact that mainly that the queue is just like nothing.
yeah.
Right.
I'm just
Right.
saying, I don't know. Like, I would do single rider Expedition Everest over Flight of Passage if it's
Yeah.
even a
Right.
2-hour
That's
wait.
valid. Yeah.
So
you
I'm
just reminded me the one thing I'm going to say about Expedition Everest. Okay.
you hate the
And it's
backwards part.
It's not my, well, it's
Is
not,
that your least
no,
favorite?
it's not my least
Okay.
favorite. I'll tell you what that is in a minute. But the reason I am not crazy about that ride is, yes, I don't like going backwards. It makes me a little bit sick. But the first time I went on that ride, I hurt my elbow. I think when it started to go backwards, it wasn't padded the way it should have been padded. And I don't know if they fixed it now. Maybe they did. But it was very early. It had just opened, not long before we went on it.
Were your arms outside the ride vehicle?
I was like,
Yeah,
very
right.
wide.
Very
Yeah.
macho,
I think
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
usually
because
where-
I feel like-
I don't remember. I mean, but they weren't right in at my side. They were regular, comfortable
Hmm.
elbow position until it hit like, I don't know what it hit. It like metal in the thing, and it hurt for a long time after that.
See, I feel like you usually say that type of thing about Space Mountain.
Mm,
I think
mhm.
that's the reason why I've heard you say you don't like Space Mountain as much, is because sometimes the way it throws you around, you
Oh,
get a little
no,
banged
no.
up.
No, no,
And
no.
you're a little sissy boy.
No, Space
You're a
Mountain.
little baby
no,
man.
no. I don't dislike Space Mountain, but it's like, okay, if I have Space Mountain or Rock and Roller Coaster,
Yeah.
I'm going on Rock and Roller Coaster every time.
As you should.
Space Mountain, I just don't feel like is as good, and it's just I'm not into roller coasters as much as I used to be, right? But my least favorite
Yes.
attraction / ride is the stupid Finding Nemo ride where there are people up on stage like carrying the fish around.
Not ride, but
Okay, you
show.
mean the
It's a
show.
show. It's
I
a
put
show.
this 2 for the record.
Let
I
me-
put this 2 for the
I'm
record.
going to stop both of you.
No,
though,
no.
because-
Let one of us
We
go.
have to
You
say an
can't
opinion.
though because they changed it. You haven't seen the show, so
Okay,
that
fine.
can't be your least
Are you
favorite.
telling
We're
me-
still going to talk about it the way that we know
You
it.
can, and that's fine.
Okay.
But you have not seen it, so you
Okay,
can't
just for
say it's your least
clarification. So
favorite.
you've seen it. You've seen it. The
No.
new one. Okay. Well, I'm going by the picture on the
You
Disney
can't do
website
that
Which they
with
still
a
have it the
guy
same way,
with a
yeah.
guy carrying the fish
It's
around.
the same
I thought it
style,
was
so you
so
can
dumb.
complain about
No,
that.
because in the Little Mermaid ride or the Little Mermaid show when they had it because that's not there
With
anyway.
Blossom
They
and Jetsam.
are going to reopen it
Oh, good. They should because that was a good show.
and redo it.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to ruin it, I'm sure.
Maybe.
But they had like the fish and all, but you couldn't see the people. They were dressed and they used black light and all, so you could only see the fish.
I
They're probably going to
wonder-
make it that you can see the people carrying the fish around
I
because somehow this is like artsy or something.
Yeah,
I guess
right.
it's just stupid.
I wonder if Ariel's going to be black. I wonder if that's part of the
Probably.
refurbishment now that
Probably.
I'm thinking about it.
I bet you. And the thing that
I
what
still haven't
bothers me
seen
with
that.
this is they're doing. It's the reasoning behind why they do this.
Okay, well, this will be a
And it just-
different.
all right.
That's a
this is
whole
gonna be-
different. That's
it
a whole
is.
different.
I
podcast.
put Nemo 2.
You
Now,
just can't though.
well, I know, I get it, and I didn't even know that till you said that for
Yeah.
the record. So I wrote it down just based on what I thought it was, but I don't hate it. And speaking of like classic memories, in the big blue world.
That's on the ride.
Oh,
that's not the
actually,
show.
they might have
No,
on
wait a-
right. No, they also do it in.
I think they do it in the
I
show.
think they do it in the show too. They
Or
s-
there's a different song in the show.
There
in
are
the show.
many songs.
No,
in
no,
the
no,
show,
but there
Big
was
Blue
one.
That's one of
World-
them though.
Because this
No,
was like
it's not.
this is like a classic family memory. When this first opened,
The show.
yes, and we first went to it and
Yeah.
saw for the first time that they were doing it with this weird style with you carrying it around and stuff. And we were just like, what the heck is this? But also there was a song, and I thought it was in the Big Blue World or whatever that they sang in the show that like kind of the rest of the day we were singing as a joke and everything.
That's what I thought.
You and I have very different definitions of classic family memory because I nothing. I don't remember
You
this
don't
at
remember that?
all.
Well,
no.
When did it open? I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
But-
you were probably very young at the
Okay.
time.
Well, what else? What
Maybe it was a different song, but I don't know.
I don't know. What else? Are you talking about Go with the Flow? I feel like that's what you're talking about.
I don't think so. No.
You know how that one goes.
No.
Right there.
Sing it.
There it is. There.
Go
there
with
it
the flow.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one
Well,
that
that
Rush
was that
sings.
is.
I
Maybe
think
that
that's
is.
what you're talking about.
Well,
Whatever.
maybe. That's
Either
And then
way.
he gets
possible.
higher and higher. He's like, "Go with the flow."
Okay. Either way. Again.
What
like,
else? Okay,
I-
so what else would be your least favorites? Quickly.
No, I don't even think I want to. I don't even have another one in mind.
The
or
Bird
whatever.
Show.
No, I liked the Bird Show. For me, it's the same thing, honestly, where there's not a single ride or show in Animal Kingdom that I don't like. I thought I'd throw this
okay.
one in because I'm like, yeah, I think it's dumb the way they do this with the puppets, but you can see the people. And the only other thing for me is just everything where, again, I'm like, I go to the Bird Show and I'm like, how are they getting all these random wild birds of prey and everything else to
Right.
fly?
Yeah.
Hopefully they're just enticing them or whatever, encouraging them with food,
Mm-hmm.
but you just never know. Like,
Well, usually
it's
that's
just
kind
not
of the same.
natural.
That's kind of the same thing, though. I haven't been to the bird show in a while. Usually, they don't have it open again during colder months and all that. But the last few times I've gone, they will explain this bird is
know.
here because
Well, they can
it's
say that,
injured
too,
or
but
why would they lie?
I don't know. I'm
It's
I'm
Disney.
just,
You
I
wrote
know,
things
but just
somewhere
the whole thing. I just, to me, I don't know. I
I
just
forgot.
Okay.
rubs me
And
the wrong
I
way.
forgot because I do like the safari ride too.
Oh yeah.
But after being through it so many times, the only part I don't like is when they drop the goat in the cage
Okay.
to try to get the Tyrannosaurus Rex to come
Yeah.
eat him.
Okay, so then I
I don't-
guess we
I hate
will
that
just
part.
all have to agree that the worst ride in Animal Kingdom is Navi River Journey. All right.
Sure.
So then that wraps up all 4 of the parks. So now we, as a collective group, are going to make our top 5 list of all of the rides at these 4 parks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody want to
So-
I'll start with number
Contenders.
No, it's
I'll
not, yeah,
start-
you
That's
throw in
not
a
how it works.
contender.
one.
And maybe we'll agree on it and then
Yeah.
we'll rank them. We'll see. What do you got?
Tower of Terror.
Obviously, you agree with that.
I mean,
I would put it in the top 5, but I know you said you're not as big of a fan. So
Well, no, but I said I just don't like it because I personally am not going to ride it. But the actual, I agree.
you would
the
agree that it's an
queue,
amazing
the ride
ride
itself, it's
and
amazing.
everything. All right,
so I don't mind putting
let's
it
put
in the
that
top
in
5.
then.
What else?
And then we can order these once we have them, so
That's
we
what
can
I'm
talk
saying.
about it more if we need to.
Yeah.
I'll put in Spaceship Earth. It sounds like we're all going to agree that that's in top 5, so that saves us.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree.
Well, now Samantha should go.
Yeah.
So we're.
Well, yeah. Now that you guys took the easy ones, probably. If I'm looking at my lists here, I'm probably going to go with Flight of Passage.
I really would not put that in.
That's insane to me.
It wouldn't be in the top 5, you're saying?
I wouldn't put it in top 5.
Why not?
Well, just some of the
Because
other
it
ones
doesn't fit Disney vibes as much as the other ones?
Maybe. I don't know. Just some of the other ones I have on here just to me are just more top 5 but it's tough. I mean, everybody's going to do it. Like you're saying Tower Terror, you wouldn't go on it. You don't really enjoy that type of ride yourself, but you admit it's an awesome ride and stuff.
Right.
I mean, I certainly admit that Flight of Passage is like a really cool experience and a really cool ride.
Yeah.
And if that's all we're doing, then okay, fine. But I don't know.
All right.
Maybe we need to discuss more options before
I'll
we
try
settle on
again.
the top 5.
So
Like, I'm not trying
to say. I think you throw it in there
as
a
a possible.
contender,
Yeah,
and then we go
because
through
I'm not trying
final
to
list.
say it's not in.
I could have been a contender.
Do
Okay.
you want to
so
give
then-
another one?
Well, yeah, because I want to get rejected again. It's
All right.
rejection therapy.
Go
Just
ahead.
pick
Pirates
another.
of the Caribbean.
I have that starred. Yeah, I would put that in
For the top 5,
because
that
You're
one's
outvoted.
borderline. That one's
2/3.
borderline for me
okay.
2/3
but-
majority.
Because to me,
by majority.
Again, it depends what you value. Part of like maybe what I value the most is just like classic.
Right.
Well,
And
along those lines, I'll say the Beauty and the Beast show.
I have Beauty and the Beast show starred. I
In
think
the
that
top
could be,
5?
I think it could potentially be a top 5.
It's a
Okay,
it's a
here's the
classic.
thing.
It's a classic because the other ones they shut down all the good things.
It's a classic.
There just aren't that
He's
many
like
good
Well,
ones
if it's
glitching.
a
left.
He's
classic, then I
glitching
have
for
to.
a
No,
second.
I'll write it down. But what I'm going to suggest after, and how many are we putting on this list right now? 10 maybe? And then we'll cut
however
it down?
many. I don't
Maybe
know.
10, no more than 10.
That's what I'm saying. The most at 10. What I'm going to say is when we're narrowing this down, same thing that I said when you were making your lists. If you have one day at Disney World and you can only ride 5 rides,
Okay.
which 5 are you riding? You can only
Are we
do
assuming
5
you can park
or
hop?
5 5 attractions.
Do I have to worry
Is-
about wait time?
No, it's
Okay.
beauty. You have a
Right.
you're on
Genie
a
Plus or
you have a
whatever.
VIP tour guide that's
How
getting
hot
you
is it?
in backstage. Absolutely not.
Is it raining?
My point is Beauty and the Beast going to be one of those 5 things? And if it is, then maybe it is. But
Okay.
I'm just saying, Beauty and the Beast. What else you got, Eric?
Carousel of Progress.
That one actually crossed my mind, and I was thinking, and it's like the
That's
classic.
a no from me.
Well, and
Okay.
and that's fine. Like part of what I factored in, it's not like I didn't star my top 5. I starred rides or attractions that are in my, obviously on my top list that we just went over, or
Right.
some of which we went over the other day when we filmed the first part of episode 1.
on Tuesday.
No,
Yeah.
but also ones that I thought, knowing you guys, that maybe we would be able to agree on. And Carousel of Progress, I know we all like.
Would you agree with that? Would that be on your top 5?
Carousel of Progress for the top 5.
Yes.
I would put if we're making a list of no more than 10 to consider, I say we put it on the list.
That's going to put us at 6. So are you
Okay.
okay
Well, I'm
with that
saying
putting us
sure.
at 6?
I'm saying
We're tapping out at 10.
yeah. We're gonna we're gonna list 10, and then we're gonna say which ones we kind of eliminate.
Here's my only issue with Carousel of Progress. Obviously, it's cool and it's something that I love to do when I'm there. One of like our family's favorite rides and all that. Totally agree. But it's what we had already said that it could be updated. And
Right.
I feel like that's one of the things that I don't even think the Imagineers and Disney executives, I genuinely don't even think they've given that a thought of redoing the
I'm just
end
saying-
scene or whatever.
But I think we include it on the list, and then we discuss what you just said. You know what I mean? We say yes or no. This is why it shouldn't be in the top 5.
And just on that note, real fast, be careful what you wish for. I would rather they never touch it. And we could sit here and say that last scene is outdated.
Right.
Leave it the heck outdated. versus them doing a full rehaul or whatever on
I don't
it.
want them to do
I know you
thing
don't.
on
I know you
the whole
don't.
show.
I know you don't. I get
I'm
that.
just saying you can update that last scene
I get
with
it.
more
Yeah,
realistic
I get it.
references and
Be
things.
careful
That's
what you
all.
wish for.
Yep.
I don't
They're
think
gonna
Well,
start-
what they should do.
dangerous.
I mean, there's nothing wrong to say what they should do. What they will do is what they will do. You can't
All right.
control
What
that.
what
Yeah.
other suggestions do we have?
I'm
Well,
gonna go back and
I
think
put
about
Rock
it.
and Roller Coaster, which I know
Yes.
Samantha.
I think
you're
that
not
should be
gonna-
that should be included somewhere
Yeah.
there.
And actually, I didn't star this just because maybe I thought Dad liked it less than he did. But, although we were just talking about it, but Space Mountain is at least worth mentioning as an option. Again, it's classic and it's fun and exciting. You know,
It's so annoying because I would have put Splash Mountain. I think all of us would have had Splash
Yeah, I
Mountain on our
would've put
top
it. Yeah,
5.
yeah.
I know.
And
isn't it funny how Thunder Mountain is clearly the worst of the three?
yeah, they are redoing
Because it
stuff
is.
with
That's
it
just
right now,
that's a
though.
roller coaster. That's it. Period. You know what I mean?
know.
And it's just
Space Mountain.
slow.
My issue with Space Mountain is like, besides the fact that's really jerky and all that, and you can say that's part of its charm. What is the story? There's no story.
that's what I'm
There's no
saying.
You're
background.
right.
You're
You're
literally
right.
It's
in
a runway
space.
Well,
railroad.
and actually, speaking of, I mentioned a couple times Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
They have one there that's more Star Wars themed.
Oh yeah.
It's really good.
Well, yes.
It's more like Rock and Roller Coaster. Like they actually have bars that pull
Yes.
down. I think it looped, and it had, it just had like X-wings and TIE fighters. Like it wasn't super themed, but at least had that, and it was just a much better ride.
Have you done the one at Disneyland? Because Space
I
Mountain
think.
at Disneyland is better in general. It's a better vehicle and
Yeah.
all that. But they have that too. They have overlays. So like they had a Star Wars overlay that I saw. They have a Christmas one that I've done. So
Well,
the one
we would have gone on it in like June or something.
Disneyland Space Mountain would be in my top 5
Okay.
for Disneyland, but I just
I think
personally
we
don't
did
think
go
Space
on it,
Mountain
but-
should be
yeah.
here. So are you saying no to Space Mountain or are you saying yes?
I mean, how many are we up to?
7, so that would be 8.
Okay, that's 8. That only leaves us 2 more to even get to their original 9.
Yes.
I mean, well, I guess we leave it in. I have 2 potential.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you
do you
have?
want to submit?
Well, I have 2 potential dark horse candidates. I guess you would say.
Sure.
One would be the
Frozen Ever
Hall
After.
of Presidents.
Oh, come on.
The Hall of Presidents.
That's a no.
Okay. And the second one, and I know what you're going to say with this because I'm not sure if we can include it, but I think we should, is Muppet Vision 3D. Because I don't think that is closed yet, right?
No, it's not closed yet, but I personally would not put
Then-
that in the top 5.
I think still that's we didn't talk about it, but I think that as of now is one of the better
That wasn't even on your top
attractions,
3.
because
You
we
can't
didn't
submit for your top 5.
because everyone kind of didn't think of it.
No,
That's the only reason.
I
thought of
I
that.
skipped over it.
No one. You guys didn't think of it. Come on.
I
Here,
say no.
The,
to both
the
of
only issue
those.
here, you've seen that
I-
so many times that it's kind of, it's
No,
kind of old.
I
but
love
it,
Muppet
it was
Vision
always
3D,
cool.
but to me, it's not a top 5.
Well, it's closing anyway. All right, leave that out then.
I'm just saying, okay,
All right,
studios, you would put Tower Terror in front of it. You would put Rock and Roller Coaster
Tower
in front of it.
Terror.
And you would probably put Beauty and the Beast in front of it. So it's not even top 3 in its own
No,
park.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, fair enough. Okay,
So how could it
so
be?
that's in studios.
What about
in Magic Kingdom?
Kilimanjaro Safaris? How do we feel about that?
No.
Not top 5?
No,
No.
and
Okay.
the thing is, I think it's kind of cool, but it's a fake safari ride.
Magic Kingdom.
know?
Peter Pan's Flight?
Probably because of the theming and what you were talking about before. I think I would include that.
I'm not going to argue
it's funny.
putting that in top 10.
I would have, before they rethemed Pirates of the Caribbean, I would have probably said that, but I don't. The retheming that they did a few years ago with that, I
they
don't-
just
I
put
think it
Jack
made it worse.
Sparrow in, basically.
They put Jack Sparrow and they changed a couple things in the ride.
Yeah.
And
What
I
about-
just,
Okay, so wait.
What
we have
about
1, 2,
Dinosaur?
3, 4.
I don't think I would include
So we have
it in
one
top
more.
5.
Well,
It,
What-
it might be.
I'm
in
just
the
throwing,
top
if we're trying to
Right,
get 10,
okay.
I'm saying, all right,
Did-
Dinosaur
okay,
maybe.
Yeah, let me clarify. Does anybody have one that they really want to advocate for, or are we just kind of throwing out random
You're
ones on
saying
our
that we
list
haven't
right now?
mentioned?
No, that are like on our top 3 that we want to be on this list. That's not on the
but
list.
that are not not
Yeah.
on that list yet.
Yeah,
no.
that are on the
so
top
yeah, so
10.
we probably already have our top 5, right? So
Well, hold on. We still need one more for the top 10.
The food is very good in Germany and Epcot. Can we include that?
No,
No.
maybe. What about It's a Small World for the top 10?
yes, put it in.
It's a classic. That's what.
It is
that's
a classic,
the reason
so it should be on the top 10.
I mean,
All right. In mom's
and
honor.
Robinson
Right.
Crusoe.
You mean Swiss
The
Family
Swiss
Okay.
Family
So-
Robinson Crusoe.
Totally different.
We're only,
Swiss Family Robinson Crusoe.
I mean, I guess we could rank. No, we're only ranking the top 5. So we're going to take stuff out right now. Because I was going to say we
Okay.
could just do top 10 since we have 10 here.
Do you want to take stuff out, or should we? Why don't we just say?
I think
Let's
let's
try
start
to do
excluding.
it from the top.
No, I want to start excluding.
All right,
just
fine.
take at least if we get a few
I don't
of
even
them
remember
off.
what's on the list. Like it's over
So
there.
wait, what did you say? You want to do what?
Well, can we exclude some of them now of the
Exclude,
top? Like
okay.
read over the top 10.
Yeah, read them once. So
Tower of Terror is obviously
That's in.
I
Well,
think.
just read through all them once. So
Tower
we
of
know
Terror, Spaceship Earth, Flight of Passage, Pirates of the Caribbean, Beauty and the Beast, Carousel of Progress, Rock and Roller Coaster, Peter Pan's Flight, Space Mountain, It's a Small World.
All right. Okay. Small World, I don't think is going to make it to top 5. It's cute that it's in top 10.
I don't think so. And looking at this
I
list
do.
right now, I
Yeah.
personally have what I would see as the top 5.
Well,
In
but
no
it needs to be
particular order.
consensus.
All right. Well then, here
So
I'm gonna.
Small World's out.
Small World's out.
Sorry, Mom.
I think no matter what, for me, looking over that, just hearing the list and everything, number 1 is going to be Tower of Terror.
We're not there yet.
Okay,
I'm
but
just-
Tower of Terror is probably in.
Tower of Terror is
Are
in.
you
I
okay,
agree.
Samantha? Because you'd be the only one that's.
I said I'm totally fine
All right,
with that. The
fine. So Tower of Terror's in.
theming is excellent.
Spaceship Earth is definitely in. Or I don't know. Is it?
I personally think so.
If
I
you
wish
guys
they
both
would
think so,
update
I'm
it.
okay with that.
All
For
right.
me, it would be around the bottom of the top 5, but
Okay.
So it's a top 5.
So that's 2. You guys don't want Flight of Passage in.
No.
I
Yeah.
disagree, but that's fine. You're allowed to be
I
wrong.
could take that one or leave it. So it's kind of
Pirates, I really think
No.
should be in.
I
That's
agree.
insane.
I
to
think
me.
it should be
Okay.
in.
okay, fine.
How
Well,
do
let's
you
ju-
not
let's-
think it should
It's
be
not
in?
like no,
Let's leave it in limbo for a
no,
second.
no.
It's
Put it in then.
limbo.
Put it in then.
No, you don't think so.
Oh,
We'll
what's
see if we
that?
can
Someone's
agree.
calling in right now to tell us that they want pirates in? Well, we must go with what the people want. I'm just kidding. No one's calling. Beauty and the Beast live on stage. No, it's not a top 5.
I'm okay with leaving it out.
Let's leave it in limbo and see what
Okay.
else we're working
Okay.
Because here, as you're saying that, because I'm thinking of sort of things that are more classic to me. Now, Beauty and the Beast isn't like classic like Carousel of Progress,
Okay,
but I'm
well,
like I'm sort of pitting them in my mind against each other and saying
Speaking
if I
of-
have to drop one,
yes, Carousel of Progress is next.
I got to leave that in, but just because I feel like we have to leave one. I want to leave one classic one in the top 5.
Yeah, and in my mind, that's Pirates.
but Pirates in its current, it's not.
Is there anything
classic.
else that we could
What do you
easily take out?
mean?
What's after Carousel of Progress
Literally,
again?
the only difference in Pirates for in its current iteration from when Walt worked on it himself is the addition of Jack Sparrow.
No, that's not the only. That's not the only thing.
What else changed?
The part where they're having the auction with the girl in the middle is
Okay,
different.
and if that's what you're mad about, then
I'm
that's
mad.
absurd.
I'm
I
mad.
don't
I
remember.
don't like them changing.
Oh my
the
gosh!
original
Because they're
stuff.
not selling a woman
Oh,
anymore.
wait a
and
minute.
He's
Did we-
mad
hold
that
on,
they
did we-
took out that.
Oh, Spaceship
We
Earth.
could have a whole podcast about this. Oh my
Wait,
word! I
wait.
can't believe that's
Well,
why
okay,
you're saying
you disagree.
Pirates is in
You
the top 5.
disagree.
Eric, do you think Pirates should be in the top 5?
Probably.
Great, it's in the top 5.
Spaceship Earth.
Absolutely.
Oh, is this
not.
your podcast now?
2?
It's not,
You've been
it's not-
outvoted.
it's just
2/3 majority.
Hold on.
What
Space Mountain. you mean.
Spaceship Earth. No, I'm
Okay.
saying Spaceship Earth
is in there already?
is in the top 5. Did we say that?
Yes.
I
Okay.
said
I'm
that.
going
And
down
you
the
were the
list.
one that said
Okay.
it would be in the toward the bottom.
No, I was thinking Space Mountain. That's why I was getting
Oh,
mixed
okay.
up. I was
then.
getting
All right,
mixed up.
good.
So
Good.
For the rest of them, because we're doing too much. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm
Speed
gonna say
round.
something. You're just gonna say yes or no,
Okay.
Thumbs
and we
up,
could
thumbs
discuss
down.
if you want.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go back to Beauty and the Beast. Yes
Hold
or no?
on. What's in already for sure? Tower of Terror,
Tower of
Spaceship
Terror,
Earth,
Spaceship Earth, and I think Pirates of the Caribbean.
maybe. All right.
But I didn't put a yes to
we have
that.
2 for sure.
2
just,
for
Just so
sure.
I know what I'm
Yes.
voting on here.
Okay, so we have 3 open spaces.
Okay.
All right.
Keep going.
Actually, I'll start from the bottom so that we're not looking at things we just did.
Mhm.
Space Mountain. I say no.
No.
I say no for the top 5.
Great.
Yeah.
Peter Pan's Flight.
No.
Man, that's rough.
I say yes.
See, because I'm comparing, because I think right now I like Peter Pan's Flight better than
Then Pirates?
Yes.
That's crazy. All right, we're
I
gonna
don't know.
skip
It's so
it.
close. No. I'll say no. I'll say no because I think Pirates is more classic, obviously. So I'll go with
Rock and Roller Coaster. Yes.
Rock and Roller Coaster. It's of course it's going away though too, which is weird.
Why are you hesitating?
I
You
say
just said
no.
You said yes already.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No. I suggested it for the top 10. but I
Okay,
say no for
Dad,
top
Rock and
5.
Roller Coaster.
How many do we have for sure in the top 5?
Just 2 still.
All right.
Okay, I'll say yes for it then.
Thank you.
I want to say, can I say something now about Rock and Roller Coaster and Flight of Passage, both?
Sure.
and some other rides. Here's one of my issues with those. If you pick up Rock and Roller Coaster and you put it in Universal Studios, I believe it the exact same I believed it in Disney World, or believe whatever you want to say. I accept it or whatever.
Right. There's nothing unique that makes
Flight
it
of
different.
Passage is basically the same way. If Universal would have bought Avatar instead of Disney, they would have had the exact same ride in Universal. There's something about some of these other rides that is explicitly Disney World. And that's one,
Okay.
Your
is Flight of Passage.
criteria?
Well, I'm just saying, is Flight of Passage really cool? Yes.
All
but
right.
I'm
we're-
just saying.
We're just running out of time. That's
right.
all. We're really. I don't
Yeah.
disagree with your point.
Yeah,
Okay.
the network.
Okay. Let's vote
Okay.
on Carousel of Progress.
I say in.
I've got to say in because, like I said,
Okay.
I think we got to keep a classic one. And
That's
to me,
4. So then our only 2 left. Our final spot is between Pirates of the Caribbean and Beauty and the Beast, which I think is extremely difficult personally. And
What's your pick, Samantha?
I feel like we're comparing apples and oranges.
so
This
do
is
I.
So weird.
I'm going with Pirates. And just because every time I've gone to Magic Kingdom, that's like the one ride that I want to go on. And I can't say the same with Hollywood Studios. If I have a list of 2 or 3 things I want to do, Beauty and the Beast is like, well, if the timing works out, I'll do it.
I
It's
like
not
that.
a must.
All right, I'm with you.
Woo, we got 2. Dad, you
I
can give
could-
your
I
That's
opinion.
almost
could've
what
gone
doesn't matter.
either
So what
way.
I think doesn't matter.
But
It's-
I mean, you can give
No.
your opinion still, obviously. But
It's rough. It's rough. I think right. Well, if you can only do one thing, I think you're more inclined to do a ride, right? Versus
mean, I
sitting for
agree.
a show.
If-
But I really like Beauty and the Beast. I really like it's really cool. So
if it's any consolation, I feel like Beauty and the Beast should definitely be honorable mention here
yeah.
because
I
it deserves
I
that.
agree.
yeah, I feel like maybe there should almost be 2 separate lists. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good with Pirates.
All right.
There are certain things like I said, I wish they would have kept it. I don't like when
So,
they change things all the time.
the 5 that we need to rate
I
are
hate change.
Tower of Terror, Spaceship Earth, Pirates of the Caribbean, Carousel of Progress, and Rock and Roller Coaster,
Nice.
which I'm pleased with.
Yeah,
I feel like
I
that's
can
pretty
accept
solid.
that.
Okay.
Number 5, Carousel of Progress.
You want to go 5 to 1 or 1 to 5?
Yeah, you go 5 to 1. You start
No,
from the bottom and work.
I
your
know
way
if
up.
you're, I know that's more exciting, but I think it's
much more
harder.
exciting.
No, I like starting and going from the lowest to the highest. I like
All right,
that. I like that.
fine.
But let's do almost like, okay, Carousel of Progress versus
Oh my gosh. Okay, Carousel of Progress versus Rock and Roller Coaster. Which one are you doing?
Rock and Roller Coaster
Great.
to me goes 5th.
Wait, what? You'd rather do Carousel of Progress than
Yes.
I'm gonna flip it. I love Carousel of Progress, but I'm gonna put it 5th and Rock and Roller Coaster ahead of it. I'm
Samantha
not saying
agrees.
I'm not saying because we're not saying 5th and 4th automatically. We're
No,
just
no,
saying,
but
okay,
yeah.
this one
So
gets
Rock
the
and
edge.
Roller Coaster's ahead of Carousel of Progress. Rock and Roller Coaster versus Pirates of the Caribbean.
All right, and we're saying the winner, Pirates.
Yeah, I'll say Pirates for that.
So Pirates is ahead of Rock and Roller Coaster, which is ahead of Carousel of Progress. Is that how we're doing this?
Yes.
Right now, I guess
Because
yeah.
we can't compare Pirates and, well,
Well, and we don't have to compare Carousel and
Pirates. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
because
the
we
winner
already
will
did.
go to
So
the
that's
next
where we're
round.
at. So Pirates is ahead of Rock and Roller Coaster. So then Pirates versus Spaceship Earth.
Spaceship Earth.
Spaceship Earth.
This is not my list, but that's okay.
Spaceship
Spaceship
Earth.
Earth. Okay, so then Tower of Terror or Spaceship Earth.
Spaceship Earth.
I
I-
disagree.
I was just
You know
gonna
what's
say-
crazy? I don't even like Tower of Terror, and I would vote Tower of Terror.
This is where
over
it gets.
Spaceship
I was
Earth.
thinking about before we even
That's
did this.
wild.
This is where it gets really rough for me because
The
Look,
storytelling.
no,
the
no.
theming,
Okay.
Tower of Terror
We-
is perfect.
We
as a
discussed it.
ride.
I agree. Like
Spaceship Earth
I,
is not.
I was the one going through saying how amazing Tower of Terror is. Think of everything that goes into Spaceship Earth.
I know.
All the different
Well-
scenes you go through, the different,
But you know
like-
what? I'm going to agree with Samantha in this case.
all right.
And I'll tell you why. Spaceship Earth is awesome,
Mhm.
but we talked about the ending.
Mm-hmm.
They need to do something. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not up
Yeah.
to date. I feel like Tower of Terror, they don't need
It's-
to change
nope.
a thing.
It-
It's
Tower of Terror is
perfect as is.
perfection.
How can you say that? Because when I ride Tower of Terror, I literally feel like I'm in the 1930s. It's almost 100 years outdated.
All right. So here's our list. In 5th, we have Carousel of Progress. 4th, Rock and Roller Coaster. 3rd, Pirates of the Caribbean. second Spaceship Earth, and first Tower of Terror. Are
I
we
can
all
live with
pleased
that.
with this?
Yeah, I can live with that.
Perfect.
And technically, we should have, right, after like, wait, what do we list second?
Spaceship Earth.
Yeah.
And honorable mention Beauty and the
So
Beast.
technically, we should have said, well, now we really should say Spaceship Earth against the next one because the Spaceship Earth automatically second.
No, but
I think we just agree on it,
We
right?
agree that
we
it's
agree that
second,
the
right?
list is valid.
Yeah, because how are you going
Okay.
to say that? You can't say that. Yeah.
Okay, well, this is the official list.
But
we
the point,
should...
well, because did we
If
do
Rocket-
did we do Spaceship Earth against
Pirates.
Pirates?
Yeah.
Okay, so then it is.
Yeah,
second.
that's what I'm saying.
If
It
we
just
would've
kind of
done-
worked out.
If we would have done Tower of Terror
did it
against
both
Pirates,
ways.
and then but you get what I'm saying. If we would have done Tower of Terror against Pirates,
Yes.
and then Tower of Terror against Spaceship Earth,
yes.
then it would have been a question of
Right.
Tower of
well,
Terror.
we didn't
just
do that.
We didn't
We
do
gotta
that,
wrap
so
this
we're
up.
fine.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So this is official. We can send this to the Library of Congress so they can record
We
the
are
list.
very quickly going to do our final two things. So number one is, what is the worst ride or show or attraction at Walt Disney World?
Biggest one I have issue with
Sure.
is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Because of what it replaced.
Yes.
I'm fine with that.
And just
Let's
because
vote
it's
that.
not a good ride regardless.
I
I'm
know what
fine
you're
with
going to say
that.
when I say this. I know what you're going to say because you said it
Quickly.
before. I'm going to say that stupid Nemo show.
You haven't even seen it. You can't say
the
that.
way it was.
Well, we're not
Okay.
doing that because if we
it's
were
not
doing that, then the
one,
Great Movie
oh
Ride
man,
would be
I
on
gotta
the
think
top
of really
5.
bad rides now.
It's not the same as.
Okay.
Well,
No, we already voted. It's 2/3 majority. It's Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Good.
Okay, great.
All right,
and now
fine.
very
I don't
quickly,
know if I agree with
ranking
that.
of the park.
ranking the 4 parks.
Oh.
Or should we save this for another time?
No.
Is this going to take a while? Because
No,
we
no,
can't
I don't-
No,
monologue
this
here.
should be a new. This is gonna take a while.
How's
This
it
is
going to
gonna
take
a
that
while.
long? You just say them one time.
No, because we're going to discuss why we're not.
I think
just
we
gonna...
should save this for a future one. I agree. This is going
Yeah.
to be a whole conversation.
well,
Yeah.
probably like way in the future though.
That's fine. Eric, we
no,
want to.
we could do a remote.
I'm hungry.
We
Okay, we'll do a
want
remote
to.
one.
Yeah, we'll
You sound
do
like
it remote.
me at the end of every
I know.
podcast. Okay, we want to thank you, Eric, for being a guest on our podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Obviously, it's been a pleasure. And everyone that's listening to this, if you can comment, like, subscribe wherever you're listening, if that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, YouTube, whatever it is, let us know if you agree with these lists, if you disagree, if we miss something completely and you're like, how did you possibly miss that? Let us know. We would love to hear your thoughts and opinions.
Or they could text us at.
I'm not giving my phone number. If
Okay.
you'd like to do that, you can
why
do
don't we
that.
Why don't we have a Google number?
Maybe we'll do that where they can
That's
text.
what we should do.
We will set that up for next time. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll
right.
see you on Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.
Have the weekend you deserve.
Yes. Well, good night. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
The moment is something is ending.
Yeah.
Good night, my friend.
This is the portion of the podcast where you get to sing.
I think I also started in the wrong key. That seems a little high.
I'm gonna pull up the lyrics for that so you have the you know what I mean, the complete lyrics.
So ring the bells in the steeple. Tell all the people that we are one. And I'm still not going to dinner with you.